Hi friends, welcome back to Shwar Zoology. So in this session, we are going to learn about hypoxia and different types of hypoxia. So what is hypoxia condition? Hypoxia means inadequate or low oxygen supply to the tissue. The condition is known as hypoxia. We know by inhalation, atmospheric oxygen enters the alveoli and this oxygen diffuses to the blood. And through the blood, this oxygen transported to the tissues. And here the condition hypoxia means inadequate or low oxygen supply to the tissue. What happened? This tissue will become deficient in oxygen. Hypoxia is a condition means inadequate or lack of oxygen supply to the tissue called as hypoxia. Then the early sign of this hypoxia. Early sign of this hypoxia includes restlessness, then tachycardia. What is tachycardia? Tachycardia means abnormal increase in heart rate. That means in tachycardia, the heart rate is greater than 100 beat per minute. Our heart rate is greater than 100 beat per minute in this condition. This abnormal increase in heart rate is tachycardia is one of the sign of this early sign of this hypoxia. Then another sign is anxiety. These are some early sign of hypoxia. Then the late sign of hypoxia. Late sign of hypoxia includes bradycardia. Bradycardia is a condition with abnormal decrease in heart rate, and in this condition heart rate is less than 60 beat per minute. Then extreme restlessness. Then dyspnea. Dyspnea means difficulty in breathing. The last one is cyanosis. So cyanosis means which change the color of the skin somewhat bluish in color. Skin color changes to somewhat bluish in color. That condition is cyanosis. So these are some sign of hypoxia, and these are the early as well as late sign of this hypoxia. Next is types of hypoxia. See, there are different types of hypoxia, and these types are, first one is hypoxemic hypoxia. First type of hypoxia is hypoxemic hypoxia. Second one, anemic hypoxia. Third one, stagnant hypoxia. Or ischemic hypoxia. Last one is histotoxic hypoxia. These are the different types of hypoxia. So different types of hypoxia include hypoxemic hypoxia, then anemic hypoxia, then stagnant or ischemic hypoxia. Final one is histotoxic hypoxia. These are the different types of hypoxia. So first one is here hypoxemic hypoxia. This hypoxemic hypoxia means deficiency of oxygen in our arterial blood. Deficiency of oxygen in our arterial blood leads to the hypoxia called as hypoxemic hypoxia, because you know that mostly the arterial blood transport oxygen to the tissue, thereby oxygen get tissue. If that arterial blood is deficient in oxygen, what happens? Leads to the deficiency of oxygen supply to the tissue. The type of hypoxia is known as hypoxemic hypoxia. Deficiency of oxygen in our arterial blood. The condition is hypoxemic hypoxia. Then how this arterial blood get oxygen? By a process of inhalation, this atmospheric oxygen enters the respiratory tract, and through the respiratory tract it transported to the alveoli. from this alveoli this oxygen diffuses to the blood, and thereby this blood get oxygen and this blood transport oxygen to the tissue. If this arterial blood become deficient in oxygen, that condition is hypoxemic hypoxia. And there are several reasons for this hypoxemic hypoxia. And different reasons for this hypoxemic hypoxia are higher altitude, then pulmonary diseases, then other factors are pulmonary ventilation as well as the blood perfusion in this alveoli causes this arterial hypoxia or this hypoxemic hypoxia. Then let's learn about how this higher altitude causes changes in our alveolar ventilation as well as the breathing mechanism. See, at higher altitude, because we know in higher altitude the partial pressure of oxygen is lesser. In a higher altitude, the partial pressure of oxygen is lesser. Normally in sea level, the partial pressure of oxygen is about 159 mmHg. Normally in our sea level, the partial pressure of oxygen is 159 mmHg. And from this sea level, air inhaled to the alveoli, or when oxygen reaches the alveoli, the partial pressure of oxygen in alveoli is 104 in sea level. Partial pressure of oxygen in alveoli is 104 in sea level. That means oxygen pressure as well as concentration reduced when it reaches the alveoli. Because when air passes through this respiratory tract, this oxygen get mixes with the water in this conducting bud, and some of the oxygen lost by the mixing of this oxygen with the water in the conducting bud. As a result, oxygen concentration reduced in alveoli. As a result, the PO2 also reduced in alveoli. So in sea level, partial pressure of oxygen is 104. But in higher altitude, the partial pressure of oxygen in atmosphere also lesser in higher altitude. That means in higher altitude, PO2 is lesser. So the inhaled air also contain a lesser concentration of oxygen. Inhaled air contain a lesser concentration of oxygen. That means in higher altitude, the alveolar partial pressure, PO2 in alveoli, decreases. Suppose it decreases to about 60 mmHg. Because in higher altitude, PO2 is lesser. Suppose in higher altitude, PO2 is 120 mmHg. And when this oxygen when this air inhaled to the alveoli, the partial pressure of oxygen also decreases in alveoli. And in alveoli, the PO2 is about 60 mmHg in higher altitude. When partial pressure of oxygen decreases in alveoli, what happens? There is a reduced diffusion of oxygen into the capillaries surrounding alveoli. That means the blood get only decreased amount of oxygen, which will leads to the lack or inadequate supply of oxygen to the tissue. That condition is known as arterial hypoxia or hypoxemic hypoxia. So this is why this higher altitude causes arterial or hypoxemic hypoxia, because in higher altitude partial pressure of oxygen is lesser. As a result, inhaled air also contains lesser concentration of oxygen. If the inhaled air contains lesser concentration of oxygen, blood get only decreased amount of oxygen. That means which will lead to the deficiency of oxygen in our arterial blood, called as hypoxemic hypoxia or arterial hypoxia. So when we move to a hill area or rotang or higher altitude, you know the PO2 is lesser and blood get only decreased amount of oxygen, that is hypoxemic hypoxia. In such a condition, if the PO2 is lesser, when partial pressure of oxygen decreases, there is a change in body quantas which will lead to hyperventilation in our body. So this low PO2 increases the ventilation. That condition is hyperventilation. So low PO2 causes hyperventilation. And this hyperventilation reduces the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in our body. Because of this hyperventilation, a large amount of carbon dioxide eliminated from the body, which causes the reduced carbon dioxide pressure in our body. So in higher altitude, the PO2 is lesser, so which resulted the hyperventilation in our body, This hyperventilation reduces the carbon dioxide concentration in our body. What happens if this carbon dioxide is reduced in the body? Usually in our blood, this carbon dioxide combined with water to form carbonic acid. And this carbonic acid dissociate to form hydrogen ion H plus and bicarbonate in our body. This carbonic acid dissociate to form H plus and bicarbonate. Because of the reduced concentration or pressure of carbon dioxide, this process will not occur. That means this carbon dioxide combined with the water to form carbonic acid, and carbonic acid not dissociate to form water and bicarbonate because of the deficiency of carbon dioxide in our body. That means hydrogen ion deficiency occur in our body. H plus ion decreases in body. H plus ion decreases. H plus means the acid ion concentration increases. What means the pH will increases. When this H plus ion concentration decreases means the pH will increases. So this condition, this hyperventilation as well as the low carbon dioxide concentration in higher altitude causes respiratory alkalosis. Causes the respiratory alkalosis in higher altitude. It's a fatal condition in our body, this respiratory alkalosis, because of the low carbon dioxide concentration in our body because of hyperventilation in higher altitude. But we have the ability to acclimatize in all these extreme conditions. And in an acclimatized person, not in an unacclimatized person, in an acclimatized person, his kidney, we know the tubular cells of kidney. The tubular cells of kidney normally secrete H plus to the filtrate. Normally secrete hydrogen ion to the filtrate for eliminating excess hydrogen ion from the body and thereby maintaining the acid-base balance of body fluid by our kidney. But when this carbon dioxide concentration decreases, the H plus ion concentration in the body also decreases, which will lead to the alkalosis, respiratory alkalosis. But in such a condition, our kidney do not secrete. In such a condition, the tubular cells of kidney not secrete this type of H plus ion to the filtrate and thereby conserve H plus in our body fluid. That means when this H plus ion reabsorbs to the body fluid, what happens? The blood pH will decreases and maintain the normal condition. So kidney play a vital role in maintaining acid-base balance of our body. So if such a respiratory alkalosis occurs, this kidney cells, the tubular cells of kidney maintaining the pH by reducing the secretion of H plus ion to the filtrate and thereby maintain the blood pH. Then other changes occurs in higher altitude. Other changes occurs in our body in higher altitude for the acclimatization in the higher altitude. They are increased RBC production. Increased RBC production. Next one is increased pressure in pulmonary artery. Increased pressure in pulmonary artery. Suppose this is pulmonary artery. Suppose this one is pulmonary artery. The pressure increases in blood pressure increases in pulmonary artery means which can supply large volume of blood to this capillary surrounding this alveoli. This is the capillary surrounding alveoli. So in higher altitude, other changes occurs in higher altitude are increased RBC production, increased pressure in pulmonary artery, vasodilation of alveolar capillary, vasodilation of alveolar capillary, increased blood flow and blood volume in this alveolar capillary, increased blood flow and blood volume to this alveolar capillary. And these changes occurs in our body in higher altitude for acclimatization. Here, in this higher altitude, the juxtaglomerular cells of kidney, secrete a hormone called as erythropoietin. Juxtaglomerular cells of kidney secrete the hormone erythropoietin. This erythropoietin act on red bone marrow and stimulate the process erythropoiesis. What is erythropoiesis means? Production of RBC. Formation of erythrocyte of RBC or RBC. So the juxtaglomerular cells of kidney increases the RBC production by secreting the hormone erythropoietin. So the RBC production increases. So here in higher altitude, whatever the changes occurs in higher altitude, RBC production increases in the body. RBC count increases. This increased production of RBC in higher altitude, such a condition is known as polycythemia. So polycythemia occurs in higher altitude because in higher altitude, in response to low oxygen concentration, this juxtaglomerular cells secrete erythropoietin and increases the RBC production. The condition is polycythemia, increased RBC production. So one change is polycythemia, and as well as the blood pressure in the pulmonary artery increases. Blood pressure in pulmonary artery. Suppose this is the artery which leave from the heart and supply blood to the lungs are known as pulmonary artery. Suppose this one is pulmonary artery. The pressure in the pulmonary artery increases. When pressure in pulmonary artery increases, it supplies large volume of blood to the capillaries surrounding alveoli. Then the pressure in pulmonary artery increases. What happened? The volume of blood, the blood supply or increased volume of blood in the capillary surrounding alveoli. So the capillary dilate and there is an increased blood flow and blood volume in this capillary surrounding alveoli. So the blood volume increases in the capillary surrounding alveoli and it have large number of RBC. Okay. So in higher altitude, RBC production increases, pressure in the pulmonary artery increases, then dilation of the capillary surrounding alveoli and increased blood flow towards the capillary surrounding alveoli. And we know in higher altitude, normally in higher altitude, the hyperventilation occurs in higher altitude. This hyperventilation causes the increased supply of air or oxygen to this alveoli. Hyperventilation, it promotes the large supply of oxygen to this alveoli. That means here, both ventilation as well as perfusion. Both ventilation as well as perfusion. Ventilation means the air reaches the alveoli and perfusion means the blood reaches the alveoli. So by this hyperventilation as well as the increased blood supply to the alveoli, what happened? The ventilation as well as the perfusion ratio increases. So the ventilation as well as the perfusion ratio, the air reaches the alveoli increases as well as the blood reaches the capillary surrounding alveoli increases. So ventilation as well as perfusion increases and causes the increased supply of oxygen to the capillary surrounding alveoli, increased diffusion of oxygen to the capillary surrounding alveoli, and this available oxygen is transported to the body tissue by this large number of RBC. So these are the changes occurs in the body at a higher altitude, and these changes are found in an acclimatized person, and all these changes are found only in an acclimatized person's body, not in an unacclimatized person. So all these changes occurs in an acclimatized person only. So what are the changes occurs in higher altitude in our body? In higher altitude, the changes occurs in acclimatized person are hyperventilation, then increased RBC production, increased blood pressure in pulmonary artery, dilation of alveolar capillary, then increased blood flow towards the capillary surrounding alveoli. These are the changes occurs in a person who live in higher altitude. Okay. Then another reason for hypoxemic hypoxia are pulmonary diseases. Pulmonary diseases like asthma, then bronchitis, pneumonia, emphysema, etc. That means pulmonary diseases also causes this hypoxemic hypoxia. So how this asthma causes this hypoxemic hypoxia? So what is asthma? Asthma means is a condition means difficulty in breathing, causes wheezing. Difficulty in breathing causes wheezing due to inflammation in bronchi, bronchioles, as well as the main cause of this asthma is bronchial spasm. The bronchial spasm means wild contraction of smooth muscles of bronchioles. Wild contraction of smooth muscles of bronchioles as well as the bronchus. Wild contraction, what happened? The wild contraction of these muscles reduces the diameter of this respiratory tract. So the wild contraction of muscles reduce the diameter of this bronchiole. What happened? Which reduce the air supply to the alveoli. Which reduces the air supply to the alveoli. That means the alveolar air or oxygen concentration decreases, which will reduces the diffusion of oxygen into the blood. When this alveolar air deficient in oxygen, what happened? Which will reduces the diffusion of oxygen from this alveoli to blood. So asthma is a condition, that means this bronchial spasm causes the hypoxemic hypoxia or the deficiency of oxygen in our arterial blood. See, like this asthma, bronchitis, inflammation of this bronchi, inflammation of bronchi. This inflammation of bronchi also reduces the air supply to the alveoli, which will reduces the addition of oxygen from alveoli to blood, causes hypoxemic hypoxia. So this asthma and bronchitis are obstructive pulmonary diseases. Obstructive, that means obstruction in the airway. So these obstructive pulmonary diseases causes this hypoxemic hypoxia. And another one is pneumonia. Pneumonia means inflammation of alveoli. This condition means alveoli filled with the fluid, water, blood as well as blood cells. So pneumonia means fluid filled inflamed alveoli. And by this pneumonia or this infection, alveoli become inflamed, become filled with the fluid as well as blood cells. This alveoli filled with the fluid as well as blood cells. What happened? It inhibits the addition or the diffusion of oxygen from alveoli to blood. Because if alveoli get filled with the water or fluid, what happened? It inhibits the airflow towards the alveoli and reduce the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide through this alveoli and their capillary. So the blood oxygen deficiency occurs due to this pneumonia. So this pneumonia also causes hypoxemic hypoxia. Last one is emphysema. We know these are alveoli and these alveoli are surrounded by the capillary for the exchange of gases. These are some capillary. These are the capillary passes through this alveoli. So emphysema, this emphysema, the main reason for this emphysema is smoking. So due to smoking, the alveolar surface area reduced. This alveolar surface area reduced. This is alveoli. When this alveolar surface area reduced, what happened? The amount of oxygen supplied to the blood from this alveoli also reduced. So when this alveolar surface area reduced means it reduces the diffusion of oxygen from alveoli to the blood surrounding or the capillary surrounding alveoli, which will lead to the oxygen deficiency in our blood called as hypoxemic hypoxia. So these are the reasons for hypoxemic hypoxia. They are higher altitude, then pulmonary diseases like asthma, bronchitis, pneumonia, emphysema, etc. are the causes of hypoxemic hypoxia. Next type of hypoxia is anemic hypoxia. So what is anemia? Anemia means deficiency in RBC production. Decreased RBC count in our body called as anemia. What is the role of RBC? See, we know 97% of oxygen transported to the tissue by the hemoglobin in our RBC. So when this RBC count decreases, what happens? It will lead to the lack of oxygen supply to the tissue, because oxygen mainly transported to the tissue by this RBC or hemoglobin in this RBC. So reduction in the RBC also leads to the lack of oxygen supply to the tissue. That condition is hypoxia. So hypoxia means lack of oxygen supply to the tissue. That hypoxia due to the deficiency of RBC in our body called as anemic hypoxia. Next one is stagnant hypoxia. Stagnant hypoxia or ischemic hypoxia or ischemic hypoxia. What is ischemia? Ischemia means insufficient blood flow. Ischemic condition means insufficient blood flow is ischemic condition. Suppose these are the cells of our brain. These are the cells, these are the tissues or cells of our brain. And this one is the carotid artery. This one is the carotid artery and this is the capillary passes through this neural tissue. And here this carotid artery supply this oxygenated blood to tissues and thereby this neural tissue get oxygen from this blood. But if an obstruction like a thrombus, if an obstruction or thrombus or bubble, air bubble occurs in this carotid artery, if any obstruction occurs in carotid like a thrombus or air bubble or emboli or air emboli like obstruction occurs in the carotid artery, what happens? Which will reduce the blood supply to this capillary surrounding this neural tissue. That means the blood volume to this capillary surrounding neural tissue decreases, thereby reduces the oxygen diffusion to the cells also. This type of hypoxia due to insufficient blood flow is known as ischemic hypoxia or stagnant. Blood is not properly flowed. That condition is stagnant hypoxia or ischemic hypoxia. Another cause of ischemic hypoxia is decreased blood volume. When blood volume decreases, we know about 5 liters of blood occurs in an average healthy individual's body. And if this blood volume, that means cardiac output, when our cardiac output or blood volume decreases, what happens? Which will lead to the decreased blood supply to the sufficient or which will lead to the decreased blood supply to the vital organs, different types of organs in our body. That condition leads to ischemic hypoxia or stagnant hypoxia. So hypoxia due to insufficient blood flow is known as ischemic hypoxia or stagnant hypoxia. Last one is histotoxic hypoxia. Histotoxic hypoxia. Histotoxic hypoxia. Suppose these are the tissues. Histotoxic hypoxia means inability of the cell to uptake and utilize oxygen. The best known example for this histotoxic hypoxia is cyanide poison. It's a well known example for this histotoxic hypoxia. In cyanide poison, suppose these are the cell and this form the mitochondria of the cell. Suppose this is the mitochondria, site of Krebs cycle as well as the electron transporting system occurs in this mitochondria. And this cyanide poison block the enzymes of this mitochondria. That means it inhibits the activity of cytochrome oxidase enzyme. It inhibits the activity of cytochrome oxidase enzyme in mitochondria and thereby inhibit the electron transporting system and thereby causes the cell damage or cell death called as necrosis. This type of hypoxia is known as histotoxic hypoxia. Now these cells are not able to utilize oxygen because this toxic substance block the utilization of oxygen and the enzyme activity of the cell, thereby leads to the cell damage. This condition is known as histotoxic hypoxia. So these are the different types of hypoxia in our body. They are hypoxemic hypoxia or arterial hypoxia, then anemic hypoxia due to the deficiency of RBC, then stagnant or ischemic hypoxia due to the insufficient blood flow, and last one is histotoxic hypoxia. That means inability of the cell to utilize oxygen for the metabolic activity and for the electron transporting system. All these conditions are called as hypoxia. So in this session we studied about different types of hypoxia in our body. And thanks for watching my video lecturing. Please like, share and subscribe my channel Sharan Zoology. See you. Bye.